Guess I better get 2018 filmed. Well, 2018 is over now, and what a year it was indeed. Having done these annual video logs for 4 years now, I've realized that these videos are a chance to look back on the year that was, and allow myself for plenty of self-reflection on what I've done, how I've changed, and how I can improve further in the future for the sake of giving my life more meaning. There were many things that happened over the course of this year. I had my ups and I had my downs, but in the end, I think it was still a pretty good year in terms of my personal development as a person. Some of the big things that happened to me this year was that I had my back brace completely removed. You see, in early May of 2017, I was diagnosed with Pott's disease, which caused great pain to my back and severely hampered my movement abilities. I was put in the back brace, and by the time 2018 rolled around, I was still undergoing medication and regular checkups, even though I felt no back pain at all. It was indeed a tough time for me and my family, but I did the right steps to continue healing my body, and by the end of the year, I was finally let off the brace. Being physically handicapped for over a year taught me to empathize more with people who are undergoing these changes in their lives, some of them sudden. It's a tough weight to lift, but it is something we must all go through as humans. 2018 also brought the beginning of my last year of high school. Those years you spend in high school are a very significant part of your life and often contain the best memories of your youth. Having studied in Key School, Manila since kindergarten and for over 12 years now, it was very emotional to know that this year was going to be my last year to study there, before I head off to college. Knowing this, I had a strong desire to make the most of my final year in Keys, and I did so by making sure that I would attend every class I could, strengthening my bonds with my classmates and friends, and most of all, cherishing every moment I spend at Keys. It's going to be very bittersweet when I graduate in a few months. To leave this wonderful community behind is going to be very tough for me. But at least starting my last year of school was change that I could anticipate and prepare for. Despite this, change can sometimes happen at any time, and you won't always be prepared for it. That being said, we also moved houses this year. At the start of the year, we had no plans at all to move houses, but then our family decided to sell our old house. And so began the process of moving houses, which made our lives that much busier. My parents and I had to start house hunting, and we eventually settled on a townhouse that was just big enough for me and my immediate family to rent for a few months, as our new house is currently being constructed. Of course though, you can't talk about moving houses without mentioning the emotional aspects of a house move. You get very sentimental digging up your old things when packing away. And of course, there are the memories of all the things that happened when you lived in the old house. It was especially very emotional for my mom, who had known our old house for 35 years. Nevertheless, everything went smoothly during the actual move, and we now live comfortably in our temporary home. There was plenty of change externally in my life this year, but the one that matters the most to anyone is the internal change that I went through. With 2018 being the first full year where I am legally an adult, I knew there were many responsibilities that were coming my way. While I started out the year with my energy and enthusiasm being low, especially being dampened by my medical condition, I slowly but surely matured and became more responsible with my life. My social skills are still not perfect, but they have improved over the past year as I become more aware of what's happening around me, something plenty of autistic people like me struggle with on a daily basis. And while I still procrastinate and cram on a semi-regular basis, I'm much more in control of my time now, being able to finish almost all of my work on time, even with self-set deadlines, the thing most procrastinators struggle the most with because it's very tempting to change your deadlines when you made them up. One thing that helped me with my self-discipline this year was the various habits and routines that I tried out in pursuit of general self-improvement. Starting just a few weeks ago, I've been making a conscious effort to try and exercise my body every day on a stationary bicycle, since I want to get my body back in shape after being mostly sedentary for the better part of a year due to my POTS disease. I've also been practicing my penmanship every day, since it has never been my strong suit in my skills. Even though we have computers and our phones nowadays, legible handwriting is still a very essential life skill that will be very handy in many situations, especially now that I'm becoming an adult and will soon enter the workforce. Lastly, I decided to start reading novels so that I can occasionally disconnect from the internet and enrich my mind with great works of literature. I'm still not a heavy reader, but picking up a book is a very fruitful thing to do every once in a while. In the end, 2018 was a good year for me, and while there was a lot of change going on externally, it helped me improve my life and personality, especially now that I'm becoming an adult. After all, change is inevitable, and whether the change is positive, negative, or even just neutral, the best that we can all do is to find that silver lining and adapt to it however we can in our own unique ways. So that's how my 2018 went, and no matter how yours turned out, I just want to wish you a fruitful and prosperous new year. Thank you so much for everything, and see you in 2019.